Check, check. Wow. What's up, everybody? We're back for the
6th.
Sixth episode of the Fresh Start podcast. We're here with the sober legend. Gentry. Man, the bottle flips. Let's get into it.
The bottle flips? It's my thing, kinda.
Like a fucking sensei out here.
Trying to be.
What got you into the bottle flips, man?
I was doing them when I was younger, but not really that heavy.
Yeah. Because it seems like you really picked up on it the last.
I don't even know how I got into it for real. I think I just like when I was younger, I could like every once in a while when I would try it, I would end up doing a cool one. So I feel like it was always kind of like in me that I could do something like cool with it. But I feel like coming to SCAD, just being around creative people kind of like brought it back into my mind a little bit. Really, it was just being bored, to be honest. It was like really just like this summer, like just like not cranking out as many videos as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I was like broke, so I was just buying a lot of like V8 juice at the store. And that was like it. I was just buying like juice and like very minimal food. So I was like, all right, let's just like flip these bottles when they're done.
Hey, I feel it. You've had some pretty crazy flips that I've seen. And you're always posting them on your stories, whether it be Instagram or Snapchat. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite ones is the trampoline to the roof of whatever that is.
Yeah. There's a little studio actually.
Like 20, 30 yards or some shit.
Something
That's
crazy,
wild, bro.
Yeah.
Do you do that in like one try? Or is it like
that was
multiple
like
times?
10 or something like that. 10,
Fuck.
20 tries. But, yeah.
Because every time I show someone your videos, people are like, yo, that's a weighted bottle. You got to know. Like, that's a trick bottle.
No.
I'm like, and like I had to go and like break it down. Like, look, there's different caps. This nigga really does this shit.
Right. Because somebody was telling me I had a magnet in the bottom.
Yeah.
I was like,
What the fuck?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Some of them videos like probably is a little bit of luck, you know what I mean? And some of them take longer than they should. Some of them I land them before the camera's rolling, and then like it takes me like an hour once the camera's actually rolling. Some of them are first try, you know.
Yeah.
Most of them I can like envision it in my head, but sometimes you just like can't really execute it because like every other try you might lose a little bit of water, or the bottle might deform or something. The bottom of the bottle's not flat no more, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
So I mean, I got straight into the bottle flips and stuff, but people don't know. For people that don't know, you're part of a group called the 270 Montage.
Yeah.
Now, what is that?
So I made it's like the 270 Montage is like my group. Like I started it when I was like 11. So I guess I started when I was like in 6th grade. And what it was, I had a YouTube channel when I was like 10. And I guess when I was 11, and I wasn't supposed to have a YouTube channel. My parents were not having it. But the YouTube channel was like Gentryjefferson, and I had like hundreds of videos on there. I was like editing like little skateboard videos and like self-film stuff. I pretty much filmed everything on my laptop. I would literally like put my laptop on like top of a dumpster and like film with the webcam, and I was literally just like in my backyard skating and stuff.
Do you remember your first video?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but I remember it. It was like my parents both had iPhone like 2s or 3s or something. And like they would always film me whenever we would go to the skate park, and I just kind of made like some crappy little video with like a song that like came on my computer. Like it was just some random little techno song that came with the computer that I got. But long story short, my parents found that YouTube channel and were like, what are you doing? Like your name's all over this, like our house is all over this.
The internet is forever.
Yeah, they're like, you can't be doing this. So I literally deleted like so many videos. Like I deleted like a couple hundred videos, changed my YouTube name, and I was like, okay, what should I call it? And
Isn't that crazy too, how anti-internet everybody was, and now that seems like those are going to be the only type of major careers moving forward.
But most of my videos were just like montage, like they were just things put together. And
what is the 270? Is that just
everyone always asks me that, and it's like the way that I look at it is kind of like you can kind of decide what it means, but also it's kind of like an evolving meaning, like initially the meaning was like 270 is like a trick on like a skateboard, and it's like a trick on a scooter and a bike and stuff like that. But also over the years I realized like if you go to any skate park in Maryland, and that's where I'm from, you have to get on Interstate 270. So you have to get on that highway
That's
to go to
dope.
like any skate park. And like the meaning just kind of evolves like every couple years. It kind of
I
just
feel it.
changes. And I continually like think it's gonna keep
Reevaluate,
changing. Yeah.
yeah.
mhm.
So you said you were from Maryland. What was it like growing up there?
So I'm in like a part of Maryland that most people wouldn't think about. Like when everyone thinks about Maryland, they either think about like Ocean City near the beach, or they think about like near Baltimore.
Mhm.
But I actually live like pretty much on the state line between Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. So I live like 2-3 miles from Pennsylvania, and I live like 5-10 miles from West Virginia. So it's not even really like Maryland. It's kind of like farmland, country land. It doesn't really feel like Maryland because it's at like the very end of it, the very start of like Western Maryland. But it was cool. It was like slow, but like at the same time, it's like all I knew. So it wasn't really slow. It was like normal.
Right.
You know, I didn't really know what slow was. You know,
Yeah.
Until I came here. But I mean, it was tight for the most part, but I feel like it's because I didn't know what I was like missing out on. You know. But I actually just went home like last week. I was there for like 2 weeks, and it was chill to be back. It's different.
All those videos that you were posting at the skate park, was that in Maryland?
Yeah, so those were in Maryland.
Okay. Yeah, you've been practicing all summer, like pretty hard then.
Yeah, well, honestly, what happened was I went home and I didn't have a car in Savannah this summer, so I wasn't riding as much. But then when I went home, I got a car, so I was like, just like, okay, cool. I was kind of eager to like go out and just kind of like
Get out, yeah.
Yeah, just
I know
go.
how that goes, you
Yeah.
know, especially coming off of shoot, I couldn't drive for like a year and a half because of the suspended license.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got my license back, you know, you're
Yeah.
trying to go every which way
So
you
I was
can.
just-
So you didn't drive at all?
Hey, I don't break no laws.
But yeah, I was just driving around really, and like and in Maryland, like what's different about Maryland versus Savannah is like in Savannah there's like, or like in Georgia, I guess there's a lot of parks, but like you kind of have to travel a lot to go to certain skate parks. But in Maryland, you can probably drive like an hour and a half away from your house, and then like on the way home, you might hit like 3, 4, 5 skate parks like back to your house. So I was kind of just doing that a little bit.
So how'd you get into skating, like initially?
It's funny. I've always been like around things with like wheels. I feel like a lot of people in Savannah don't really, they see me on the scooter and stuff, but like it's a lot deeper than that. Cause I'm on the Sky bike racing team, and I went to a high school in Virginia for bike racing. So I've always been around like wheels. So I think just like my dad used to race bikes, and my dad's like one of a bigger bike race announcers in like the United States. So I think just like consistently going to bike races, you would see people on like BMX bikes, you would see skaters, just being around wheels, I was just kind of had to do a little bit of it all.
Yeah.
So I started off biking, and then, you know, we would go to like bike races. There might be a skate park like near the bike race or something. It was just kind of like, okay, I can ride a bike. Let's see if I can skate, you know.
Yeah.
My parents always bought me stuff like that. You know, they would give me skateboards, they'd give me new bikes, give me scooters. So I was kind of just always around it.
So for the people listening, it may be a little bit hard to keep up with us. So you do, you ride scooters,
Yeah.
you sponsor that, you ride bikes,
Yeah.
make videos,
Yeah.
flip bottles.
Yeah. Skate
What
a
el-
little bit,
you know what I'm
rollerblade a
saying?
little bit, like
What else is in your portfolio there?
I mean, photography, editing,
Event planning.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. What else do I do? I mean, I ran cross country in high school.
Wow, I never understand people like
Like,
what
to
is the
run for fun.
motivation? Truly explain what is the motivation behind cross country? Like I don't see no reward in that shit. Like you're just dying slowly.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like
I mean, I don't know. It was just one of those things, but I mean, I did a lot. I mean, like I'm a lifeguard. I played a little bit of like, I did like tennis and gymnastics when I was like really young. I almost got my black belt in karate, but I broke my leg like literally like a couple months before I was supposed to get my black belt. But I've done a little bit of everything, but I think I've like gravitated more towards like digital stuff and like action sports and stuff like that, just because I was able to kind of do like 2-in-1. I could like skate but also film stuff, you know.
is there a singular career that you're pursuing? Because I mean, you have a very diverse skill set.
I mean, there becomes a point where it's like, even if you have like a diverse skill set, you kind of need to like figure out what, not realistically, but like what at this certain point in time could really help you and like your family and stuff. Because like sure, I could maybe like love riding scooters more than anything, but is like riding scooters realistically gonna like support myself and like put food in my cabinets and like help my family?
I'll tell you, I've never seen nobody ride a scooter like you do. I'll tell you that.
I mean, they're out there though.
That is true. I'm gonna give you your props. You be going crazy. Like,
Appreciate it.
Like, I didn't even think niggas rode scooters like that. Like,
I'm like,
go to the skate park and hit a half pipe with a scooter.
That's wild.
It's popping other places. I mean, it was a #1 sport in Australia for like a while.
That's
And
crazy.
then surfing like overtook it. But if you go to New York, like you'll see like people going crazy. New Jersey is popular. Arizona, California. There's just like little pockets. But in the South, it's like nothing. But I guess if there's one thing that like I would do out of all of them is definitely like film. But I think like the event organizing, just because I can still do the film, and it's like it leads me to all the connections to continue film.
Yeah.
So I think film.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
too.
I think it's gonna be like, you know, but realistically, I want to do everything. You know, I want to do a little bit of it all. But I think what's really gonna allow me to support myself, support my family and stuff, would definitely be like anything event and film related.
So like in the aspect of like event planning, can you talk about Global and like where Global came from, like what it is and where it came from?
Yeah. So Global was like, I guess it initially was like a party and is gravitating currently to like a festival. But what it was just me being inspired by like Savannah. I was just like, you know, coming from a small town and then coming to Savannah. Most people call Savannah a small town, but for me it isn't. And just seeing so many creatives and seeing so many like people that have talent, I didn't want like anyone to like let their talent go to waste. So I wanted there to be like a central area where people from all over like the globe can come in and like show what they got, you know. And like the initial name of Global came because the first Global event, we had a DJ from Georgia Southern, Savannah State, and SCAD. So like, you know, a DJ from each university in Savannah, just kind of coming from all different perspectives. And then gradually we bounced off of that and we're like, okay, let's get people from different countries that go to SCAD, and let's get people from different parts of the world, and let's just get different types of art, different types of music. And
the first one was at your house, right?
Yeah, first
So
one
how was that?
it was all right. I mean, I got fined.
I said I got fined.
Yeah, I got fined.
That comes.
Like, everyone like thought I got arrested.
Right.
You know, but I mean, it was worth it. I mean, I knew something crazy like that was gonna happen. But it was kind of what we had to do. We had some venue spaces intact, and we had some bigger houses intact, and they kind of folded. So we had to drop my address literally like a couple hours before the party started.
Fuck.
Yeah, and then my roommates were like super like stressing like real hard, because they're like, as long as like, you know, it's not over like 100 people would be good. And then like 500 people later, they're like, all right. You know?
It's too fucking late.
Yeah.
It's too many people.
But I mean, nothing went wrong. I told them, I was like, I got it. You know, I live here too. I don't want anything crazy going down.
Right.
But it was cool though. I mean, the cops did like walk up in the house, and like everyone kind of like got frantic, but like no one got hurt. Everyone was safe, and you know.
It was on your birthday too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually the day after my birthday, but yeah,
I mean, either way, still, you know, about 400 or 500 people for your birthday and your first.
Yeah, that's pretty
little
lit.
event.
yeah.
That's a good start.
It was cool. I mean, like my house is really small, so it needed to be in the backyard. But then we really wanted to expand on that, because we were like, we saw what we could do, and people told us what we could do. So the next move was definitely like a venue space. And then now we're really pushing to, you know, bring it to other colleges and other universities around the states. And then we're also trying to push it, you know, to be like as where Rolling Loud is, you know, but we're really trying to focus on the college aspect as well, because I feel like Rolling Loud, something like that is dope, but it doesn't focus on college. It focuses on like just
artists and music,
or just artists. So I kind of want to like, I would love to bring Global to like major universities and like even smaller universities.
It's a nice way to lock up business too. You know what I'm saying?
I would love to drag that around. But the next one that we're planning is going to be even more diverse. You know, I think that Savannah is very diverse, and I think that Savannah is also very segregated. So we're really trying to grasp different ends and different areas of Savannah and different types of music. We're gonna have some slower music. We're gonna have some reggae music. We're just trying to really show like everything that Savannah has to offer. Because long story short, that's what Global is like. I'm just trying to show what people don't see,
right?
You know,
because I think Global was like dope, especially like if it was somebody who like is not from Savannah, was to just like walk in there and see what the fuck was going on. It was like so many different elements of things that were put together. And to be honest, I did not expect that. But that's like the first type of event that I've seen in Savannah where it's like literally like diverse from like all different types of artists from all different like types of places. And the shit was fun and it was dope as fuck. You know,
it looked crazy from
it was wild.
All the highlight videos as well. Like that, I think that's the craziest part about it is you could see how diverse it was from the highlights. So to see that in the video, I can only imagine how fun it was to actually be there. You know, you guys had fire breathers, you had people doing
shout out to Allie.
graffiti. You got you guys are breaking stages. You know what I'm saying? Like
skateboarding.
You know, so, you have people skateboarding while people are performing.
Yeah. A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Basketball. But like you're saying if a person who wasn't from Savannah came, I mean. That's kind of how it evolved. Is like I wasn't from Savannah,
right.
So when I came to Savannah, that's like what the vision I got.
That's dope,
like
man.
Just coming to SCAD and just walking around Savannah, I was like, bro, like you literally see all different types of the world here. And people are just doing a little bit of everything.
It's been like a common thread for like the people that have been on the podcast about how like segregated Savannah is, like especially like in the aspect of like SCAD and then Savannah as a whole.
They're two different things.
Yeah. I mean, SCAD is kind of responsible for that, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, but I'm trying to kind of break those boundaries and break those barriers without making any discomfort, you know.
Right.
Just trying to make things like safe and just kind of like make things cool. Because I mean, I feel like it's not like segregated for no reason, you know. There's obviously reasons and there's obviously unsafe parts of town that don't want to associate with the safe parts of town. There's obviously like long lost history of beef and stuff like that. I mean, there's reasonings behind it, but I feel like there can be some barriers can be broken down now and
very
some
much
later.
So.
You know.
So when is the next Global coming?
We're definitely planning on doing it sometime in the fall. Only for the simple fact of, you know, our winter break is like 2 months long, so we don't want to leave people waiting for too long.
2 months long.
Our shit starts like what?
It starts before
Thanksgiving,
and then we get back like in January.
Yeah, like January 10th. Our shit's long as hell.
That's wild.
Shit is so long. Our summer's long as hell
like
too.
2 months and just.
Well, it's 3 months. It's like a quarter. It's just 3 months, and then we get a break.
School for 10 weeks, and then we get off for like
a month, and then go back. Or not a month. It's probably like a couple weeks. Probably like 2 or 3 weeks, and then we go back.
That's crazy.
And then for like the summer, like our classes in May.
No, because we get off the whole entire month of December and part of November and like part of January. So it's like 6 or 7 weeks or something like that.
See, I went to Full Sail and they give you like 6 days. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nah, our summers are long as fuck too. We get out of class in like May, don't go back till September.
but at the same time, like the way they run it there is you don't do summer break or you don't do your major breaks. In 2 years, you can have a bachelor's degree. So.
Okay. That's lit.
That's
yeah.
it.
I like these breaks, so I can't cap. SCAD is fucking stressful. Stressful as hell.
I understand that. So, let's see. We covered the skating. We covered the
flips and global.
We
talk about biking for real. That's,
biking. Yeah, cycling.
Yeah, that's like one thing that I haven't shown as much as I would have liked to in Savannah. Like if you would have met me like before I came to SCAD, that's like what I was doing all day long.
That was your number one hobby back in the day?
Yeah, just because I was going to school for it, and
You're going to school for cycling?
Yeah, I was in high school for cycling. Yeah.
How's that?
There's a couple different like boarding schools and programs like that are usually in schools in the mountains, and basically they'll just like build mountain bike trails on campus, or they'll like be located near ski resorts and stuff, and we just kind of like every day you just go out and just like the school would literally give you a scholarship to race for them.
That's fucking crazy.
I mean, that's what I do for SCAD as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had that.
They have like white sports. I can't cap. They have white sports. They have like fucking lacrosse, and they don't have like basketball, football, shit like that.
Basketball.
Really?
Explain, I guess, cycle culture for me. Like, what is the preparation like? What is the events like?
So the reasoning why you haven't seen me doing a whole lot of it recently is because it's literally probably one of the most time consuming sports like ever, and it's probably one of like the more expensive ones besides like equestrian. I mean, if you show up to a race, there's gonna be a handful of people with like $10,000 bikes or $5,000 bikes or something.
I mean,
And it's a very tedious sport. Like everyone wants to have the best equipment and look the best and present themselves the best, and it's what I mean by it's very time consuming is if you're doing it right, you're sleeping a certain way, you're eating a certain way, you're even like walking a certain way. You don't want to get injured. You want to be in like your fullest form all the time.
You're not skating.
Yeah, you're not skating.
It changes like your whole lifestyle.
Scooters on half pipes.
You're not going to events. Like you're not staying up late. You're not partying. It's a very go to sleep early, eat this, get up early. People shave their legs. So if they crash, they don't want to get like infections from like ingrown hairs and stuff like that. People shave their arms because they think that it's faster, which scientists say that it is, but it's such a small it doesn't matter. And then people, it's a very, I mean, like some of the students at SCAD probably ride 3 to 4 hours or 2 to 4 hours every morning, and then
that's
maybe even ride later on that day. And at SCAD, our races are all far away.
Now, explain the races for me. Is it a time thing? Is it a lap thing?
It just depends.
Is it distance? What are these?
I'm more short distance, and what I mean by that is I do this sport called cyclocross, which is pretty much cross country running but with a bike. So you're pretty much riding on like grass terrain, riding in a little bit of mud, a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain, stuff like that, and then you get off your bike every once in a while. They'll like kind of like maneuver the course in ways to where they'll slow down your momentum before like a big hill or before like a jump or something like that. So you kind of have to get off your bike.
Jump?
Yeah, like they'll put like little tiny jumps or something like that, or stuff like that. Yeah, but they'll put steep hills and they'll maneuver the course in a way to where like you literally can't ride your bike up the hill, so you have to get off and like run up the hill.
So that's a normal thing is hopping off the bike.
Yeah, so
that's allowed. I suppose
they'll make
slower,
it so basically like 25% of the course you have to run, and then the other 75% you ride.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no.
It's also
triathlon.
Like national championships for that discipline is in January. And world is in December, and World Championships is in January, and it's a European sport. So, Worlds might be in Belgium. So if you're racing in Belgium in January, it's just gonna be snowing or raining, or super cold. So the courses are typically always muddy because if it rains a little bit and 1,000 people are riding through the grass over and over again, you're just gonna keep going lower and lower in the ground. It's just gonna keep on getting like wetter and soupier and stuff. But the races are. Cyclocross is a timed thing, so you race for 45 minutes or you race for an hour. But then there also are time trials where they just say you're racing from point A to point B, and then whoever has the quickest time wins, and everyone just kind of goes like you go and then I go like 2 minutes later.
For the like the 45 hour races, how do you classify who's first? Like what is?
So everyone starts at the same time.
Now is that like? I guess like is it a circuit? Like is this on the track?
Yeah.
And
so you might do like
how many laps you can get done?
What they might do is like let's say you go around the first lap and you have like a 10-minute lap. They might calculate that and say, okay, if the race is 50 minutes, you guys got 5 laps. That's how many you're gonna do. So pretty much they base your first lap time and they're like, okay, this is how long it took them to do it, so they're probably going to be able to do this many laps, and then they'll put up a lap board and then everyone knows, okay, I got 4, 5, 6 laps left. But yeah, everyone starts at the same time, and it's just like cross country running, how when they say go, it's like you're not looking back. It's just like you're just going crazy until the finish line.
What is are there a lot of tracks around here?
Nah, not really.
No.
In Savannah,
even with SCAD?
Nah. Bike racing is very like slow around here. It's not ideal because there's no hills, and we're near the beach, so everything's kind of like sandy and stuff like that. But I mean, it's
especially
cool.
with it being so swampy.
Yeah.
And
but just coming from like I went to a school in the mountains, like in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, like on the base of like a ski resort. So we could literally go climb up a hill for 4 hours and then turn around and come back down the hill for 1 hour. and that would be our day. And it would just be such a workout, just being able to go climb up a ski resort or something, or go to the ski resort and then, ride on this, like on the snowboard, like jumps and stuff, like on the snowboard tracks, like on our bikes and stuff like that. It's just cool. So, but it's different. But I mean, some people like it here. Some people hate hills, but I'm a climber, so I like going uphill, So I would rather be somewhere with hills. But
so how are your parents as far as support and all the different things that you've been doing right now?
It's like kind of like, it's like a weird relationship.
Yeah.
I would say they definitely support what I do, but there's definitely like a lot of miscommunication sometimes, and there's definitely like it's just kind of confusing sometimes. But I mean, I would say for the most part, they support what I do. But I think they support some of the things that they like that I do more than I like than what I do. So it's like I like filming more than I like biking, but they support my biking more than they support my filming. You know what I mean?
Do you think do you think the support's necessary?
Biking?
For just like, do you think it matters at the end of the day?
It just
the support of having the support of your parents.
Just depend. Oh, support?
Yeah. Like their blessing, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. If they told you to stop global tomorrow, would you do that?
No. But I mean, like, I think that, like, I have the type of parents that are never gonna stop supporting me. Like, they're really good people, and I feel like even if I was doing things that they did not want me to do, I feel like at the end of the day, they know that I'm their son. And I feel like they're still gonna support me no matter what, because they do care about me a lot. But I feel like that, I just feel like they support the things that are not my priority as much. And I think it's because that...
Do they know that it's not your priority?
Well, it's mainly just because my dad grew up bike racing, and he knows how good I am and how good I can be on the bike. But I think what it was there was a lot of support and pressure put into biking from him that it kind of like drove me away from it a little bit.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I still love biking, but I just feel like there became a point where it was like, I did it for so long and was around it for so long. Of course, like any kid's gonna want to look for an alternative just to try something new. And I bounced off of biking, and I filmed a lot of bike races for a while, and I'm still in school for biking. I go to a school that has a bike racing team and a film program, But like I said, they support my film and they support my scooter. They support bottle flips. They literally support everything that I do. Like if my scooter broke tomorrow, my parents would definitely help me like figure out how I can get a new one.
That's dope,
man. My bike broke tomorrow, they would figure out how they can give me a new bike.
That's awesome.
Like they support everything that I do. They just support some things more than the others. But that's because, obviously it doesn't.
Every parent has their dreams for their kids.
Yeah, of course. And obviously it doesn't sound realistic for if somebody said, okay, what are you going to make a career out of? Biking or water bottle flips? Like most people are going to be like, probably biking. I mean, I go to school for biking, not flipping bottles. You know what I mean?
But shit, nowadays, man, the world's so crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more questions for Gentry and a little more info on Global. This is Fresh Start Radio. And we're back. So we were just talking off camera about your drive and the physical and mental demand for just all the different activities that you be doing.
Yeah.
From the very active with the cycling and stuff, you say it's time consuming just because of the amount of rest and the true training that you have to do with it.
Yeah.
To bounce from that to staying up all night and hitting all these different events, being a videographer, like, how do you stay up, bro? Like, honestly, because I see you everywhere, and it seems like you're never just chilling in one spot for more than an hour.
And you're sober all the time.
So, yeah. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. And I know you may hate people even bringing it up or making it a thing, but it is a thing, and it is something that I think should be showcased and praised, to be honest, because in an age of Lil Pump and all this other shit, you know, you really got damn near 6-year-olds glorifying popping pills and doing all this other shit. And to see you come, just to see you work is inspiring. For sure. You know, because I know a lot of us feel that we can't operate, or may feel like we can't even go out and socialize without having some type of one of those vices, you know.
Yeah.
And what is that? What is it like being sober? I guess you have no drive. Like, you have no drive for none of that.
The thing is like, it's like asking me what it feels like to be sober can't really even be answered because I've never been messed up.
You've never drank. You've never nothing.
No. But I guess more so like, where does the desire come from to not do it? Because it's not like you're not around it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for a while I wasn't around it. I mean, my parents, they love me, and they always wanted to make sure that I was around the right people, and they always wanted to make sure that I wasn't. They knew that I wasn't gonna get into anything crazy, but they didn't want me to be around people that would give me the ability to do anything crazy. Right. So, you know, I never even saw like alcohol like until I was like in college, you know.
So your parents don't drink either?
I mean, like if we went to like a Mexican restaurant or something.
Oh, okay. Like, but they didn't have it in the house or anything like that?
I never have seen my parents drunk, and they never just like drink randomly. So it's like whenever they would drink, it wouldn't even register in my head that it was alcohol because it was so casual. You know what I mean? And I never saw people. I was never in an area where people were drunk, and I never saw anyone smoking weed. I barely even saw people smoke cigarettes or anything like that. So
that's wild.
I just wasn't around it. And then I went to a boarding school where people did that stuff at my boarding school, but it wasn't as heavy as it would have been if it would have been like in a public high school. And plus, my school was very isolated, so I had never been to a house party or a concert or an event until I came to SCAD.
Wow.
So I had never been at like a function where that was like a thing.
Right. So how was it the first time that you saw all of that like in the same space? Because it's not only weed and alcohol.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's whatever. I mean, I think the reason why I don't do it is because it was like, okay, I come to SCAD, 18 years old, I go to my first house party or whatever. It's like, okay, if I haven't needed to do this for 18 years,
why start now?
Why would I need to do it just because it's like right in front of me?
Right.
You know, like there's people out there that smoke weed, but they're not just gonna do crack just because somebody puts it right in front of them. You know what I mean?
That's a hard lift.
People always ask me, they're like, why don't
even
you?
The fact that you're not even curious to just try it, even just. And I'm not talking, go fucking shoot up.
Right. And that's like the big topic, is just like, why aren't you curious? But I think people always forget that like there's things that they're not curious in doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
And for me, it's just one of those things that's like, I'm not curious because, I mean, of course I'm curious. Like, like obviously I don't know that feeling. So I'm like, oh, what does it feel like? But,
You also see from being a videographer how stupid people can get.
But I also see how it can help people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see both sides. I think it's one of those things where it's just like, I just don't really like just feel like doing it. If I ever do feel like doing it, I'm gonna do it. If I feel like drinking or feel like smoking, like I will. I'm not like against it. But I think it was just a combination between never being around it, so I didn't need it, and then it's like, okay, now it's here, but it's like I don't need it. And also there isn't as much peer pressure as you think either, because if you, for example, like if you see me running an event like Global, nobody's first instinct is just gonna be like, this man's really sober right now, let me go get him a drink. But if I was like standing in the corner all awkwardly, then of course like somebody's gonna wanna like offer me a drink. But if I'm like turning up, or if I'm on the microphone, or if I'm in the middle of the mosh pit, it's not your first instinct to be like, oh, this kid's probably sober.
Do you think the videography and all that helps with it, because it keeps you busy? Because I think that's another part of why people have such a hard time it's the standing around being socially awkward versus you, on the other hand, are always doing something in the party.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I just don't really care if somebody.
have you gone to parties and just chilled? Like, for the most part, I see you always doing some type of video work.
For the whole entire first semester at SCAD, I didn't even bring my camera to a single party.
Yeah.
So for like the first 10 weeks, I was just chilling and just dancing and just having a good time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't have the desire to. Like, if you put like 30 cans of beer on this table right now, I wouldn't think about drinking it. It just doesn't come to my head. Like, when I go to a party and people are smoking and drinking, it doesn't even like register. Like, oh, maybe, you know, I just don't even care. It just doesn't even matter, you know.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a twin sister.
Okay. Does she drink or smoke?
I don't know. She goes to school in Maryland, so I don't even know what she's got going on. I mean, I presume not, but I don't know. Maybe.
That you know if she doesn't do that stuff. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Let's see, what else do we got to get into?
I think we're good. Like, touched on like everything.
Yeah.
Extensively.
So we got globals in October. Where's that gonna be at?
We're shooting for the same location as last year at the stables, but we might bounce around. We never know. Hopefully it'll be in October. We're looking around, trying to get around midterms and finals.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you.
I wanted to ask him about the stables. So your relationship with them is still like... okay, cool.
We just broke a half. Like, people were acting like I killed him.
Okay, no cap. That's how everybody was, though. They were wilding.
For people that don't know, what happened last time?
We were just turning up, you know?
Yeah. That's a very... All right, so I'm going to throw the video.
That shit was crazy, though. That shit was terrifying.
So we were just turning up on this wooden half pipe that was the stage, and just one of the sides broke, you know. And it was more or less just like a courtesy thing. It was like, you know, I'm borrowing something from somebody, and I want to give it back to them in the same condition, if not better, than how they gave it to me. So it's like, you know, realistically, we could have had the party keep going, sure, but then maybe something else would have broken. People would have thought it would have been acceptable, or... You know, luckily nobody got hurt, but somebody could have gotten hurt.
Because people were like standing and sitting on there too. It just happened to be like luck that nobody was on that shit when it broke.
Well, people were on that.
No,
they were.
It looked like it was like
there was like 30,
15 or something.
Did they fall?
Yeah. So what happened was there was like at least like
lit.
10, 20, 30 people like standing on this ledge just jumping. And then
Got you.
Broke. But like luckily like nobody got hurt. But like somebody could have easily like broke a leg, broken an arm.
Yeah.
Like so it was kind of like, okay, we need
to
like
honestly a huge blessing that no one got hurt.
Yeah, of course.
Because we were in the back and like I just remember hearing it and I was like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. And then it was like, yeah, this shit's over. Now I was like, oh shit, this niggas breaking shit per usual.
At what time did they shut it down to?
It was like 12, and the event was gonna end at 12:30 anyways. Yeah. But the only bummer was that Devin and Jeremiah were supposed to have their DJ sets for the last 30 minutes, and the first global, the same thing happened. The cops came and they didn't get to perform either.
Damn.
So like the two globals that we had, our two DJs that were supposed to go didn't get to go. So
you got to put them first next time.
They don't want to go. I mean,
all things aside, that's kind of a dope ass way to end the party, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, like that'll spread word of mouth to everybody. You know, that shit was crazy.
I mean, the first part.
But everybody was pleased though. Like regardless, like everybody was like, "Yo, that shit was dope."
Add like
a hype factor to it.
Because the first party, literally, like we were turning up, and then all of a sudden there was a cop on the stage. And they were just like,
"What the fuck?"
So everyone just ran out.
Who let 12 in this bitch?
And then all of a sudden, people see me like getting like dragged into a cop car. And then everyone's just like, oh, that's lit. Like, it's his kid's birthday. Like, everyone's like, that's tight. And then the second one, it was literally just like, the fact that people didn't really know what happened, just being like, yeah, like a bunch of kids just like fell and just ate it. And like something broke. Like, we broke the stage and that's why it ended. It was just kind of like, it adds like, makes it more
mystery
dramatic.
factor.
It makes it kind of cool. But I think that's what I think it makes the event like more raw. It makes it like more authentic. I feel like everything in Savannah kind of like house party event wise happens like that, and I feel like it makes it sound like cooler. It's like, oh yeah, we turned up so hard, like somebody got like arrested.
Yeah.
So the question I did have was, what does success look like for you? What is
Success to me, like, what is it? What do I want?
so say your average day, what is your successful, what is your dream job? What does your perfect day look like?
My perfect day, ideally I want to get up early and stay up early, and stay up late, and in between all that I just want to help as many people as I can, help myself as much as I can, check up on friends, check up on family, and just be like as productive as I can, but like in all aspects. So, I touch every day. I touch on videos, I touch on the scooter, touch on the water bottle flips, touch on the bike, touch on mental health, touch on physical health. I kind of touch up on a little bit of everything that ensures that like I'm moving forward, and that my peers are moving forward, and that my family's moving forward. So I always try to like call my close friends, talk to myself, call my family members, and I just try to like everything that like I do, I just try to touch like as many aspects as I can on it, and just try to consistently improve with like everything that I do. That's why like on my Instagram you might see me post something party related, but then like something on the scooter, and then like a bottle flip, because I'm trying to just perfect everything that I do at the same time. So like an ideal day would literally just be me waking up around 6 or 7 in the morning, doing what I do all day long while still keeping family, friends, and other people in perspective, and then staying up late, continuing doing what I gotta do, and just repeat it.
That's hard.
Would you say you're there now?
What?
Would you say you're there now? Because what you just explained sounds like exactly what you're doing.
It's what I'm doing, but there, I still kind of like, I still want more, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I try to do, and that's what I'm gonna try to continually do. But like I said, I would love to get up earlier, and I would love to touch on some of those aspects a little bit more. I feel like I don't touch on the bike as much as I should. I feel like I don't touch on the scooter as much as I should. And I feel like I don't go in depth on all that stuff as much as I should. Like I feel like with video editing, I need to expand a little bit more and try new techniques. I feel like with everything I need to do, I just need to expand it a little bit more. So it is what I'm doing right now, but I want to make it all more.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah, take all that stuff into the next level. So if right now I'm biking an hour a day, I want to make sure I'm biking 2 hours a day. And if right now I'm filming with this camera every day, I want to get a new camera and switch it up.
So it seems like you have the mentality of never being satisfied, so you're always progressing. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
and good, sometimes it can hurt you, but that's why I always make room for mental and physical health.
Right.
Check up on my family members and my friends, so I can always keep myself in perspective and make sure that I'm not like damaging myself by not being satisfied.
Did you read the article that came out from Medium about Scat? Yeah. And I think it was like interesting that they touched on like the aspect of like people not sleeping, and it's like it is something that's glorified so far in like in terms of being an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't sleep or sleep when you're dead type shit. But I think like in real life, like you have to sleep and take care of yourself while still maintaining like being creative and doing the shit that you want to do, because like you can't do it if you're not getting the proper rest. You know what I'm saying?
And I definitely am never satisfied, and like sometimes it kind of like can get kind of crazy because I always want to continually do stuff. But that's why I've forced myself to make room in my day to where I literally check up on myself and make sure that like, even though I'm moving really fast, I make sure there becomes a point where like I hit a speed bump, slow down for a little bit, and I'm like, okay, am I moving forward? Am I doing what I need to do? And I minimize some things over the others, and certain things that maybe are damaging me, like if I'm not eating the right way, I'll kind of switch that up. But for the most part, I try to find a balance to where I'm never satisfied, but I'm also like never hurting myself.
Right. That's dope, man.
So where can people find you at? Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, Instagram, just Gentryjefferson. I'm on Facebook, Gentryjefferson. I think Twitter, I'm the 270 Montage, and then Snapchat, Gentry123.
Do you have a separate page for 270 and yourself on YouTube?
Yeah, I haven't been as active on the 270 Instagram as much recently, but I have on YouTube the 270 Montage, and then same thing for my website. We have clothing on there and stuff like that too. I mean, if you just look up the 270 Montage or Gentry Jefferson, you'll be able to find like most of the links.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming down to
I
the
appreciate it,
podcast.
for real.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Global has
Yeah, I'm
in store
excited.
this time.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is Fresh Start Radio. I want to thank everybody for tuning in again for another week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And have a good day. Thanks.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
That was good, man.
Sweet.